This is the Peterborough print shop. It was bought by the council, and the history group are the custodians of it. So it's all run by volunteers, all very enthusiastic. And it started off as a static museum, but we've gradually got these machines working, and it's looking really good. We've got lots of people who are coming to visit. This was the original newspaper, so this is 1887, and it did originally 3 lots of newspapers: the Petersburg Times, the Orroroo Chronicle, and the Northern Advertiser. And this is all the typeface, all the metal typeface of different size points. This is a beautiful Hamilton's wood type, absolutely beautiful.
This is wood type.
These would be used for headlines, and that top part is actually Hollywood. If I say Hollywood too fast, you'll get confused. But they cut it out of that top part with that beautiful veneer and then adhered it to a solid piece of wood, so they had the exactly the right type high, which you would get from the type high gauge.
Okay.
So that would go in there, and then you'd know they're all the same type. If they're not the same type,
the rest of them down here.
There'll be a problem.
They're all done on wood. And more.
And more.
Oh, look at that.
And more. Look at the beautiful designs of them.
Yeah.
And
they've gone black because ink's run over them. Is that right?
Yeah, I would say so. And this one, we're using some of it at the moment, but this is particularly special, the design of it. And if you look up here, you'll see our Cowie, and that's using it.
Oh, there, look at that.
It is quite special. So,
Yep.
These are all the spaces, metal or wood, and this is the furniture. We're just in the point of changing things around, so it's not exactly in the spot we'd normally have it.
Talk about the table.
And this is the stone that you would work from or work off. This would be used to make sure it's all level, and you would hammer it down.
Wow.
This was known as the 8th wonder of the printing world. It actually completely changed the idea of printing, because it was all done in this machine. So you had composing, casting, distribution, and the end result was a line of type.
Wow.
So that was your line of type. That would slide down on here, onto here. Then it would be elevated up, cross here, drop down, and the hot metal behind it.
Ah.
That's where you get hot off the press.
Hot metal.
Yes, so hot off the press, it would slide through to form slug. And
So hot metal ended up making those little pieces.
yes, hot metal made those. And then these would go up to here. And this long handle would come down, pick them up, take them up there, they'd slide along the coils, slide back down to where they started. 8-second turnaround.
Wow.
From the time that left there till it came back again.
Incredible.
So it was quite a big change.
And when was that machine built?
In the late 1880s, 1870s, somewhere
Right.
around there.
Before the turn of the 1900s, huh? Yeah.
Yep.
That
And it
amazing.
just revolutionised things, because it meant that the ordinary person could get hold of a magazine or a paper or a book, and it could be done in their own language. This machine it was known as a small jobbing machine, so it wouldn't do anything larger than this size here.
Okay.
So the ink would go in here, these are the rollers, and the chase would go in here that holds all the printing, and the rollers would pick up the ink there, put it on the drum. These rollers would take it off the drum, put it on the chase. These are little suckers, so they would suck up the paper.
Yep.
And these would come around and pick up the paper. So they'd pick it up and drop it off. Should be able to start it.
It still works, doesn't it?
Oh yes.
Oh. Oh.
So not picking up the paper, but
Yeah. That's great. Thank you. Okay. That's amazing.
yeah, it's
Quite a dangerous piece of equipment.
1951, this particular model. And Derek's been going through and pulling things apart, cleaning it all up, and
Wow.
put the Wharfdale from York.
Right.
So that is patented
Wow.
in 1910, but that may be 1920.
And is this?
And we have absolutely no instructions, so we've been learning bit by bit how it comes together and how we can operate it. But we've now got it so that we can turn it over.
And this was for newspapers.
Yes, it would do newspapers and very large posters. And it's a flat bed,
Yep.
so the chase is in here, you can see the chase.
Yep.
And it just goes back and forward, and this cylinder goes around and prints it.
Wow.
But we're still saving madly to get enough money to do the rollers so it can be more automatic.
Wow. How much do you need to buy rollers for it?
Well, we reckon it could be close to 10,000.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, we don't know, because it's so out of date.
Yeah.
There's all the rollers, it's a matter of getting re-sleeved.
Okay. Incredible technology. Now it's all digital.
Yep. And Valerie's had a very unenviable job here.
Originally started off with a couple of shoe boxes that had just all these bits in the shoe boxes.
Right.
So I had 2 trays, so I divided everything out as much as I could into order.
Yep.
And now, to save the trays, I'm now putting them into these sleeves because we can put them up there over there and they're tidy and we can get to them easy.
And what are they exactly?
These are all the spaces
Right.
that when you're doing the printing,
Quads.
and the quads, because they're all different sizes depending on
Yep.
what you're actually doing.
And where
Yeah,
are the
points.
letters?
Well, there's no letters in that.
No letters. They're just spaces.
These are
all
just-
things that separate the letters.
Okay.
Some are type high, and some are spaces.
Okay. Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah, and they're all different. You know, there's
And
so
how-
many different.
How often would you come and work here?
When I'm not busy doing something, sometimes 4 days a week.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
We only go till about 1 o'clock.
We go till 1.
So
Yeah.
9 to 1.
Yeah.
And it's all voluntary.
Yes.
Yeah.
You should get a medal.
No, Mary should have the medal. She's been doing it much longer than me.
She's calling me Queen of Sorts.
Because these are sorts.
Queen of
These are
Swords.
sorts and you're sorting.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
We do have a lot of fun, actually. Yeah.
And that's the guillotine behind you there,
Yes.
It is.
cutting
And
up.
that actually comes from Botzen in Germany. Botzen.
Yep.
And that is where Peter Doherty came from, the original person to start up Petersburg.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just a
And he got that from
nice
back
little
home.
coincidence.
Yeah.
And then over here is another collection of different things. These are all the ephemera, or they're all the trimmings, all
Yeah.
the funny little things that you have to put in. And we've got this one, which is very unusual. It's
Zoom down on it. That's the Masonic Lodge.
yes, but it is different in that it is the ladies.
Oh.
Order of the Amaranth, Ladies Lodge circa 1935 with a
Wow.
question mark.
With a question mark.
So it could be 36 or 32 or whatever.
Yeah.
And this other one
We only found that out because the lady came in here
and told us, we had no
Wow.
idea.
and told you what it was.
And this one is the Cheer Up Boys Society of Petersburg. So
Put it down here.
that was the Cheer Up, and it's actually got Petersburg on it.
Oh, from
So they looked after the army men.
yeah, cheer up, boys.
So that's a precious little one.
Very.
And these are just all boxes and boxes. That is the first printing we have done on the Wharfdale.
Wow,
We weren't sure whether it would print or not, but
it did.
it did.
It did.
These are known as drop caps. So they are the letter that you would use at the beginning of a paragraph that would be much larger than the rest.
Yep.
And that was another thing we found.
Wow.
The hardwood cylinder it's a flatbed machine, and the chase goes in there, and instead of going the way the platen went, this is a cylinder one, so it goes around and out the other side. And we should be able to start it. See how we go.
Wow.
This is the one that we fundraised for rollers for, and the town came to the party and helped us, and we got 2,400 in less than a month. We needed 2,400
Yep.
to do the rollers on this, so we were not financially viable to do it. So we put it on our Facebook, Peterborough History Facebook page, and asked the community or anybody who'd like to contribute something towards it. So with it was definitely less than a month, perhaps 3 weeks, we had the money. And that was just throughout the community, different ones.
Wow.
Some were just single $50, but there were a few bigger ones. The biggest was $500.
Wonderful.
So we're
So now
very
you're going to
excited about it.
refurbish this machine.
We've got the rollers that are gone to Sydney, I think it is, to be re-sleeved, and when they come back we hope to be able to print posters on.
Fantastic.
We're doing a print in May, and you have to do something else. Well, you can print anything, but I decided to make a money tree. So this is the money tree, and it's just using all ephemera and dollar and pound signs. So that's the tree, that's the money falling off, and that's a pile of it slated down below. So it's just a bit of fun, but it just shows you can do wonderful things if you've got a whole lot of this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And this is the little Adana. So this is one of the machines that we bought in, but it's great for children. So you can just put the ink on there, the rollers go into this section here, and you just do that, and the rollers go back and forward and ink it, and then you print it
Make a
on the little
postcard.
on the little chase. Yes,
Yeah.
and it's lovely for the children to
Get the
use.
kids involved. Rodeo.
That would have been one of the last printings that they did, one of the last posters. So that's wood, yes. So you've got a mixture of wood and monotype, and then this is the linotype.
Okay. And before they had this machine, did they put the letters in one by one?
Yes, it was always one by one, and then they had to take them out and put them away one by one by one.
Put them back in their
So
places.
you can appreciate just how
Long it would take.
big a change it made in the printing industry.
Oh, huge.
The-
To the ladies of the History Club, thank you for the amazing stories about the dockets as they were cool.
So we've got John and Trish and Martha and Raf and Vanessa and Kay.
Okay, so this is one of the original job dockets
Yeah.
from the print shop. What we do is transcribe what's written on there onto here for our file.
Yeah.
We take everything out of the envelope and then we number them on the back, of course, not the front. Place, what's that called? Acid-free paper, tissue paper between each sheet that's in there. Then we put them into an acid-free plastic bag. They get filed in lots of 50 and eventually they'll go into storage. But they are also put onto the computer on a program called Mosaic.
Okay.
And that eventually the community or the public can get in and have a look to see what's there.
So they're all being digitalised and put on the computer here.
That's right, yes, it all goes on this.
And
This
so
goes on to that.
that's going to be a great service for anyone searching.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's your name?
John.
John, you're doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to do a little sweep of the room here. These are all volunteers, nobody's getting paid. And otherwise they'd be sitting at home bored watching TV. Oh, you'll be doing the laundry. Night owl ball. Oh, how old was that? What year?
This is 1939.
1939. There we go. Come to the night owl ball at Tarkawi.
And lots of travelling men looking for work, and they used to camp under the grandstand at the showgrounds and make a bit of a mess, like burn the posts or wood and leave their mess behind. So he killed 2 birds with one stone by building a swagman shelter and stopping the damage to property.
Wow.
So that's on the site of the old grandstand, on the sporting complex.
Is that the swagman shelter there, is it?
That's the one there.
Yep.
And he ran lots of functions to raise the money, got a lot of donations.
A shelter shed gives comfort to the unfortunate wanderer and prevents damage to public property.
Yeah. Now Sergeant Wright, we followed him up at the police history records.
Yeah.
And that's his record there, but in 1 year of this Swagman shelter starting, he had over 3,000 men go through, and in the time it was open, over 8,000.
8,000 men stayed at that shelter. Well, there were a lot of swaggies around,
There were.
and they'd go knocking on doors looking for a work, chop a bit of wood just to get a feed.
That's right. Anyway, these swagmen had a party for him one night. They made a stew in a 4-gallon drum.
Right. What did they do?
Well, each of the swaggies donated something towards the stew, and they invited him round for tea. Someone had a turnip, someone got some meat. So that's how they thanked him.
Put on a stew for him. That's lovely.
Yeah.
You're finding a lot of history here. I found some family history here. In the front room, you've got in your library there a new collection of books called The Streets of Adelaide, written by Dr. Jeff Nicholas. That's my brother.
Oh, really?
And
we went to that opening, didn't we?
And he spent 16 years putting that book together.
That is when he came here to talk at the fabulous.
Did he have a talk here, did he?
Yeah, in the, just so that you know, at the council chambers.
Oh, okay.
Just for the public or anyone that wanted to go.
And you went?
We have 25,000 dockets to go through, and we've reached the 12,000 mark today.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
You're
you.
nearly halfway
So
there.
almost halfway, another 500,
Yeah,
and
fantastic.
won't take us long to get there.
You blokes are amazing.
I have been working here for 8 months.
And what
Now?
do you reckon? Do you like coming in?
Yeah, I love it. Everybody's friendly. We have tours come through that keep us quite busy. Between all the collating of the dockets, and now we've just started to collate the posters to put back into the drawers. So we're starting to It's a very long, slow process. We're also going to photograph all of these posters,
Yeah.
which will eventually also go onto the Trove
Computer.
website for the museums, so anybody will be able to find perhaps something related to their family history here in Peterborough.
What's the website called?
The website is Trove, and it is the museum's website. We do have a little thing here that you can take home with you that you could.
So you're doing this for Trove?
We're doing it for us and for this community of Peterborough, but also a lot of people worked here in Peterborough. There were a lot of railway workers, and of course then all the support grew. So there were a lot of people living here, and a lot of people passed through. And if you mention Peterborough when you're in a group of people, somebody will say, oh, my father worked in the railways there, or we were stock owners there, or we had a farm just down at Yongala.
It all go onto this website. Fantastic.
Yeah, it is. That's part of what John is doing. He's putting in the smaller dockets, and then we'll actually photograph the posters that will go with all of those dockets.
Adding to history. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's a social history. Every time we open up a docket, it's like a little Christmas for us.
Yeah.
Some weeks we get absolutely fantastic things. We had a beautiful black poster with gold writing once. It was just absolutely lovely, and at some stage that will go on to Trove.
Incredible.
I'm Tricia, and my job is to document the historical items that people give us to put in our collection.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've got a number of them and write up our documentation, and then if they're suitable to go on display, they go over to the YMCA building where we've got our museum.
And what do you do with the ruler there?
Oh, this is something, a box of things which belong to a printer, which have been given to us. And so, yeah, that's a little printer's folding ruler. So that will go in the collection somewhere.
What are you doing there, John?
I'm logging the files onto the computer
Yeah.
for reference, which one day will be available on the internet,
And where will they be found on the internet?
on the history group internet.
On the
On the
history
history
group
group.
of Peterborough?
Yes, it's
Wow, what a wonderful project. There's going to be many people in about 100 years' time that'll love you for doing this.